John Deering, the Managing Director of Capstone, joins us today on Jacobson Katz Inside Maine Business. Welcome to Jacobson Katz Inside Maine Business. I'm Matt Jacobson.
And I'm Roger Katz. And today, Matt, we've got John Deering. He's the Managing Director of Capstone. It's going to be an interesting discussion.
Yeah, John runs a consulting firm out of D.C. Consulting probably doesn't give it enough credit, but they're a strategic advisory company that helps other companies decide how to grow. Really fascinating business.
Right, and we're going to hear about how even in this difficult economy, maybe it increases the need for people to have those kinds of strategic consultants to help them through.
Well, I think that's right. And John helps companies find new markets, maybe new partners to help them grow their business. I think he'll have some interesting advice for businesses here in Maine on how you might think about your business in this environment.
We'll learn a little bit about mergers and acquisitions and what's happening with those today in this environment too.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with John Deering here on Jacobson Katz Inside Maine Business. And welcome. We're here with John Deering, who's the Managing Director of Capstone. John, welcome to the show, and tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Capstone, the Growth Engineers, really does one thing. We help clients to grow their business and reach their dreams, quite frankly. We do that through a lot of different methodologies and processes and utilizing tools that really help maintain objectivity through joint ventures, alliances, acquisitions, strategic partnerships.
How cool is that? I mean, the dream-making business.
Yeah,
I like that
that.
Disney
Growth,
did that.
right.
Yeah, very, very cool. Now, you're based out of Washington, D.C.
That's correct.
So you're seeing businesses from really across the country.
That's correct, Matt. Actually, we're based in Washington. We've been there since we started. And our clients are all over the globe, actually. We work with companies that are owned by companies in Asia and Europe, Latin America, that have subsidiaries or divisions in the United States that they're looking to grow. We also have a lot of clients that are based here in the States, New England, a few in Maine, and in the Midwest as well.
So walk us through some of the things that you do. If I'm a company that's looking to grow, what are you going to do for me?
Well, a couple of areas. The first one would be strategy. So any program that you want to look at to grow externally, you need to start with the base, the foundation. So we have a three-step kind of process. The first is build the foundation. So that's what's your vision, where do you want to go, and what's your strategy. In order to get your strategy, you need to do two things, and that's figure out what you have to leverage. So in the instance of economic development, what do you have in the state that you can leverage? And the second one would really be what's the external environment? What's the competition look like? So you have to assess that to develop strategy. So we work with a lot of people in education and facilitation to get to their strategy and vision.
John, give us an example or two of companies you've worked with and how you've played that out.
Well, the first good example I would say is a company that was a leader in food service in the United States, and they asked us to say, okay, what can we do to expand? And so we looked at a global marketplace, and we said there are different countries around the globe that have certain economic statistics that would be beneficial for you to look at. So we pared down the universe from, say, 17 countries down to 3. And then we took the analysis further to say, okay, using this funnel approach and criteria, we'd selected 3 countries and then looked at companies that they could partner with in those lands.
So you've found merger candidates for them to attack?
Yes, the ultimate objective, I wouldn't say attack at all. These are all friendly situations.
Sure they are.
It's a matter of, some of them could get a little, during the negotiation phase, contentious, but in general, it's friendly. Because what we're doing is trying to find the right strategic fit partners for our clients. So ultimately, in that scenario, to play it out a little bit, they actually invested in minority stake investments in 2 companies, one in Latin America and one in Europe, with an option to acquire the other remaining shares over time.
And how about right here in Maine? I know you've done some work in Maine.
Absolutely. Had a few great experiences here working with companies in Maine. One experience was with Maine & Co., actually, Matt's company that he's with.
We know that company.
Yes,
exactly
we do.
Right. And we were introduced actually through another client that we had in Maine, introduced us, and we got put in connection with Matt. So we did 2 projects for Maine & Co., basically followed the same process that I described earlier of understanding what they have to leverage, if you will, and then going out into the marketplace and defining criteria that will say, okay, you need to have a business characteristic of this size, these attributes for growth, this XYZ criteria. Then we screen those companies out and bring them to the table to say, okay, these companies, in this particular case, the latest project was Canada.
Right.
Why don't we introduce you to Maine & Co.?
Really helped us target where we could be successful and help narrow that universe, as you say. And we did it for 2 different projects. One for defense-related industry that we might be able to attract to Maine, and then the Canadian thing. So for us, it's such a big problem. Who's our customer? And John's group was really instrumental in helping us define that piece.
Your business, how do you get paid? When a deal comes to fruition, you just get paid a fee for doing the work, or is it contingent on something happening, a merger or an acquisition or buying into a position in a company?
That's a good question. We're a professional services firm, so we're paid on an hourly basis, or if we have a particular project that you can put a box around or a specific scope, we'll do a fixed fee project. Typically there is a success component if the engagement takes you from beginning of the process through the end. So clients really hire us for 2 reasons. That would be the expertise in growing externally, or arms and legs to do, for example, some market research in the case of Maine & Co. and bringing that focus and funnel using criteria. So arms and legs projects are more typically hourly arrangements, and then the deal transaction on the back end would include a success fee.
Now, a lot of these deals require financing. Every deal requires financing. And you get involved in that as well?
We do. Predominantly, it's for referrals and relationships. So we help companies that are looking for what I would classify as smart money. Okay, that would be strategic partners. If you're asking strictly about private equity groups and venture capital funds, we'll do those on a case-by-case basis. But most of them will refer to people that have better networks than we would, I guess.
Right. So you have a stable of folks that help you when we get to that.
Exactly.
To get to that point in the deal.
But most of our clients, especially in today's economic times, they're looking for a different way to skin the cat. And one of the ways that people always, look for venture capital, we're suggesting to clients that are in that world to look for strategic partners. So these companies might be people that bring brand or distribution or complementary products or technologies to the smaller company and say, okay, we can form a partnership here, and you can finance that, blowout, if you will, of commercialization or whatever the case may be, as an alternative to the venture capital
take it on
world.
the VC. So, and in this market where there isn't any VC or very little these days, that's probably a good opportunity. I'm sorry, how's your business going at this point? Are you seeing, because of these economic times, a lot of people asking for strategic help?
Oh, absolutely. One of the main reasons we're thriving right now is the strategy piece of our business. There's no doubt about it. And I think that a lot of people are sitting back going, they're looking at their crystal ball and they're saying, the growth rates that we've benefited from, if you will, in the past of, say 5% to 15% or whatever the growth rate has been traditionally, they look in their crystal ball and that's not happening. If it's just their traditional budget cycle.
They're lucky to be at zero.
Exactly. Absolutely. They're looking at a decline. So the leaders that have the forethought to say, we have to do something different. We have the leaders that say, we need to find a different solution. We can't be status quo anymore. They would come to somebody like a Capstone, and we would break out of the box, and we'd say, okay, what can you do a little differently? We're not going to go in and help with their operations and efficiencies and help build the right sales force. What we're going to do is say, what do you have, products or technologies or capabilities, mindshare, that you can bring to new markets, and how are you going to actually execute that? And we can help you bring the right people to the table. Or if you have a product or service that you have great relationships in your current customer base, what other products and services can you bring to bear to that same customer to get deeper?
John, we're going to come back after the break and talk a little bit more generally about the economy, what you see going forward, and what we're looking at. We'll be right back with John Deere.